Hey there, Grant Professionals. Rodney Walker here, Grant Center USA. Hope you are having a wonderful day. I'm excited about being here with you to share just a little bit with you for a few minutes about some of the things that I think are important for us to be mindful of. And I don't know about you, but I'm excited about this season. This is a this is a fun season to be a grant professional. And I know there are a number of you that are doing grant writing, doing grant development, some of you that are beginners that are wanting to learn this and learn how to do it at a high level. Some of you are already writing grant proposals and are now looking to grow and continue to strengthen your knowledge and your skills in this area. So I'm excited. There's been a lot of talk about this man right here. You remember this guy right here, Kobe Bryant? There's been a lot of talk about it, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan, and about a year ago, uh, on yesterday was the anniversary of his death and everything. This guy had a tremendous impact on just the whole game of basketball. But I believe that there are a lot of lessons that we can take away and learn as grant professionals from this guy. And I'm going to share a few of those with you. And I want to let you know also on this week that I'm going to be sharing some additional information with you, especially on this up and coming Friday. Friday, we're going to be having our GFICC. And just in case you're not familiar with GFICC, it is the Get Funded Inner Circle. And that's where I come together and get a chance to connect with some really cool people. And we discuss things about grants and we go really deep so that you can take that information and begin to apply it in what you're doing to help you be a better grant professional. So that's going to be taking place on this Friday. In fact, let me share what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be doing some talks about some things I've been learning in this book right here, Grant Writing for Beginners, in the Beginner's Guide to Press Releases. In fact, I'm going to be sharing some of my firsthand experience with using press releases to gain more attention and using that attention to convert that attention into more funding for your organization. If your organization is not doing that right now, if you're not using grants and coupling those grants with press releases and other things to help get the right attention to your agency, you're missing it. And that means that you're going to continue to stay in the minor leagues. And I don't want to see you and your organization remain in the minor leagues. I want to see your organization graduate up to what I call the majors. And when you start talking about doing major league grant writing, it's more than grant writing. In fact, I like to take that term grant writing and almost pull that term out of the equation. Even though it's a part of the equation, it's one of the spokes, but it's not the only spoke. It's one piece of the bigger puzzle. So when we start talking about doing grant development, I prefer that term, grant development, as well as grant development campaigns. When we start doing that, we're talking about doing something at a higher level that involves grant writing, but it also involves these other things that need to be there to help us to get the attention that we need and to get the right, here's a magic word, credibility. Yes, you and your agency needs to continuously be working on your agency's credibility, because credibility is a friend for those who are doing grant writing. Now, why is it a friend? I'm going to share with you real quickly why it's a friend. I like to think about those who give funds to nonprofit organizations and to governmental agencies. I like to think of them, especially those that are giving funds to nonprofit organizations. I like to think of them as charitable investors, okay? Charitable investors. And anytime any bank or anyone who's given funds out to anyone, they oftentimes will pull something. Do you know what they will pull? If you have a good guess, just type it in over here. If you have a good guess what they like to pull. When you're getting ready to get a bank loan, what do they pull? When you're getting ready to get a car loan, what do they pull? We know what that they pull. They pull your credit, okay? Because they're getting ready to make an investment and they want to make sure that they're making a good, wise investment. Well, in the philanthropy world, where funds are given out, funders want to make sure that they're making wise investments as well. They're not going to necessarily go and pull your credit like the credit bureau, like the mortgage loan people will do, are like the banks, but they do still check your credit. The credit that they're checking is your credibility as an organization. What is your track record? So since they're checking your track record and looking at all of these things, we want to make sure that it's good. Okay. We want to make sure that it's good, that it reflects properly who we are as an agency. That, my friend, begins to increase your funding. And that's one of the reasons why I'm going to encourage you to be doing things like press releases and doing things like social media and making sure that you are effectively marketing your organization the right way so that you can garner the most amount of money. Now, if I just told you, hey, just do grant writing, that's it, I would be shortchanging you. And I don't want to shortchange you. I want to give you a complete comprehensive picture because funders are looking at all of those different things when they're thinking about possibly funding you. That's why the classes that we have over at Grant Central USA with our GFIC membership, that's why you will see us talking about things related to grant writing. But you also see us talking about how do you talk to the funder? How do you converse with them on the phone? How do you do deep research? And how do you strategize? How do you build a team? How do you do all of these other things that help to fit in with the chief goal that you have, which is to get the maximum amount of funding? And that's why it must be a comprehensive game plan that you execute. With that being said, that's what we're going to be talking about on this upcoming Friday. And the beautiful thing about our Get Funded in the Circle is that the previous master classes from the previous months are all included inside of our membership portal. We have a portal that you can go and take a peek at if you go over to grantcentralusa.com/coaching, and you'll see there's a link that says coaching there. If you go, that link has videos where you can see on the inside what the membership portal looks like. And that's why every month we're adding to it. And the beautiful thing is you can come in and get access to the previous ones that we've had from some of the previous months. Really a gem, really a gem. Now, let's get back to this guy right here. One of my favorite, if not my favorite all-time favorite basketball player. And a lot of the reason why this guy is my favorite, and a lot of the reasons why I said earlier that grant writers can really learn a lot from Kobe is really connected with this right here, the Mamba mentality. This was a mindset that Kobe Bryant embodied. And I love it because in the book, I've been going through the book and everything, reading it, and look at this. He talks about my routine changed over time. My approach didn't. Okay, so he had a centralized approach, and I believe that when you start getting routines, certain habits, the right habits, that it will help you to be a better grant professional. Why? Because here's the thing: if you really want to be the best potential grant professional that you can be, and you have that's in your right, in your power to become that, you got to make an investment. And that's one of the things that I love about Kobe, what he did. Kobe would not allow you to really outwork him. And a part of what I love about him is that he did that. And he continued, if you listen to interview after interview, he was one who was continuously curious. He would ask Michael Jordan, he would ask various basketball players like Elijah One and others, the greats like Wilt Chamberlain, not Wilt Chamberlain, but more like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and James Worthy. He would ask all of these historic figures about what it took to be the best, and he would learn from them. So there was a dissatisfaction with where he was at. He was always seeking to become better and better and better. And I really want to encourage you as a grant professional not to get lazy, because sometimes maybe you've won a grant for $100,000 and you go, wow, I've reached the mountaintop. Well, there's always room for improvement. You can even get better than that. Or maybe last year, maybe you raised $50,000, or maybe you raised $1 million last year. Well, there's nothing to say that this next year that you can't raise $3 or $4 million. Okay. I have students that I work with that have helped to raise millions of dollars. Some that have come to me that have asked, hey, Rodney, show me how to do advanced grant writing. That's some of what I'm trying to share with you now, some of the concepts, so that you know that there are levels to this thing. And that's why I'm really encouraging you to think that you've always got to continuously be putting in the work to get better and better. Because if you If you just say, hey, great, I've done it. I know everything I need to know about grant writing. No, you don't. I've been doing this since I've been doing this. I started doing my first grant writing back in 2002. Okay. My friend, I had a hairline at the time when I started. Okay. So, and I'm still learning. Did you hear me? I'm still learning. There are different ways. And because technology is coming into the equation, there are new ways that you can continue to incorporate new strategies into your grant development efforts. And one of the things I learned from this guy is to keep that hunger, to keep challenging, not others, to keep challenging myself to be the best self that I can be. And what I want to encourage you to do with your grant efforts is to continuously become the best you that you can become. That's why oftentimes it's really important for you to get outside of your industry. Yesterday I had a question that came in from a lady yesterday, and I was encouraging her, hey, you want to continuously not only look within the industry, but look outside of the industry to see what lessons can be incorporated outside of your industry and brought back into your industry, which is the grant industry, that may help you to do a more effective job in your grant development pursuit. So part of what I'm saying is this: get better, stay hungry, keep learning, and keep adding to your skill set. If you feel very confident in the grant writing, maybe now you want to become more proficient in your communication. Or if you feel really good with your oral communication with funders, maybe now you want to get better at follow up, with continuously maintaining a relationship. What tools are there that can help you to enhance that? What ways can you and your organization say thank you better? You see, there's always room for you to grow, for you to learn, for you to improve. Now, let me share with you a couple other things before I get ready to bounce. Did you catch that? I said bounce, just like in basketball. A couple of things that I learned from Kobe that I think was really, really helpful. Um, Kobe started early. He would start early, and a part of his routine that he had set in place was that he would start early, and he would get these routines, and he would have those that were working with him, some of his coaches, some of his trainers, that would continue to prod and push him along. Now, I heard in an interview even today where he was talking about, hey, if you need somebody to wake you up and get you motivated to do what you need to do, maybe you're in the wrong profession. And if you're a grant professional and you feel that way, maybe that fire is not the same way it used to be. Either one or two things: either we need to improve that, or maybe you need to get in a different profession, because we're talking about a profession that allows you to help make a tangible, concrete difference in people's lives. And that's really, really exciting to me. Really exciting to me. That's why I like to go hard and bring you these resources so that you can improve in your grant making skills. So here's a question I have for you. And in fact, yesterday I was talking to a young lady, and I'll keep her name anonymous because of the nature of what she asked me, but I'll call her Gigi. And you'll see coming real soon on the edition of Ask Rodney that I answered a question from a young lady named Gigi. But one of the things that impressed me with this lady, Gigi, was that she had a 1-year game plan for how she was going to improve herself this year in the area as a grant writer. So my question to you is, what is your game plan? Do you have a game plan for improving? Have you identified those areas that you want to improve in so that you can strengthen your overall grant development efforts? I hope you have. If you haven't, this is no shame. This is now just a little light to say, okay, great. Now that you know that you don't, let's improve it. Let's improve it. Again, that's how we get better and better. Now, I heard another interview, and I'll tell you about this interview. I think this interview that I heard today, I think Kobe was 12 years old, and he told the story of how he was 12 years old. And that year in the Summer League, he said that he did not score a single point. And the guy who was interviewing him, I believe it was Rob Lowe or Lowe something, made mention, he said, zero? He said zero. He asked him why. He says, because I stunk. He was not good. Okay. So here's the thing. Maybe right now, with what you're doing, you're not good. Maybe you right now, you're not good at grant writing. Maybe like you're right now, I stuck at this. I got a rejection letter. Well, guess what? First proposal I did, Rejected. I got a Dear John letter, a Dear Rodney letter. Dear Rodney, we're not funding you. Okay. So maybe you got one of those. Well, he experienced the same thing. Remember when he was 12 years old, he said he didn't make an entire point. He said he didn't make a free throw. He said not a lucky ball bounce, nothing. So what he did that really impressed me was he said he was looking at the long game. And so what I want to encourage you in that same way is to look at your long game. What he did was he began to look at the different areas that he could improve in. He said, okay, great. I need to improve in this area right here. So maybe that was the jump shot. So he said that he just worked on that jump shot. Maybe for you as a grant professional right now, maybe right now you're not doing a skillful job of doing a letter of inquiry. Maybe it's like, you said, letter what? A letter of inquiry. If you don't know what that is, you definitely need to go check out our GFIC, because we have training that tells you how to go about doing that. Or maybe you don't right now know how to do proper, deep investigative research and to use the strategy behind it. Okay, well, you work on that. So what I'm saying is you look at the areas where you need to improve, and then you go and get some training to improve in that area. And then once you strengthen that area, you begin to improve. Before you know it, you get better and better. What he said that really excited me in that interview, Kobe made mention, he said that he worked on it. And then he says within 2 years, he didn't know that the growth was going to be that quick. He says, but within 2 years, he was the best basketball player in the state at that time. So he was now hitting the high school part, but he was the best in the state as a result of that. So he put in the work, he practiced, he developed, and at the end of the day, it paid off. In that same way, my friend, I believe that if you will invest in yourself, put in the work, do the practice, don't give up just because you didn't make a shot in your summer league, which is grant writing. Don't act as if, okay, that's the end of the world. Look at the long game. Now, maybe you have some friends that they've already been getting funded, but here you are, you haven't been getting funded. You're like, all right, now I'm not getting funded. I'm just gonna give up. Maybe I suck at this. Well, guess what? To start and do anything well, we oftentimes will suck in the very first beginning, meaning that we will be horrible. We won't be good. When I did my first grant proposal, I was not good. I wasn't. I didn't get funded. The funder called me in to discuss, say, Rodney, hey, would you like to come in and discuss the problem areas with your proposal? I'm like, yes, I would. Because why? I wanted to get better. And here's the thing. What would have happened if I would have stopped there? We wouldn't be talking right now. You wouldn't be seeing me right now if I had given up. But I didn't give up. And as a result, $357 million plus later has come into people's pockets because of some of the efforts that I've had in helping others to learn the skill. And my friend, I'm telling you that if you learn the skill, you can too. And I want to say hello to my good friend, Lisa. Thank you for joining us. And those of you, the others that are here, if you feel free to leave your name or let me know where you're coming from. I hope that this is helping you, because my goal is to encourage you not to give up. Not only not to give up, but to really take the plunge, take the leap. If you haven't written your proposal yet, write it, okay? Because you never know. It may be a small proposal. Maybe it's just for $500 or $1,000 or $3,000. It may be a small proposal in the beginning. But again, a lot of littles will start giving you the confidence that you need to continue on. And before you know it, my friend, you're going to have some points in the summer league. And you're not only going to have some points, you never know. You may become the best in your area. And I hope so, because then I can say, you know what? I had this person who was listening to one of these recordings, and they decided they want to be the best. And this is what they did. They took that Mamba mentality and put it to work. And the rest is history. And they got funded. Okay. So don't stop until you hit your goal. What's your goal? Okay, what's your goal? Maybe you can let me know by simply typing it in on the corner. Let me know what it is, and let me know what that goal is. Now, let me say a couple of things, and I'm going to wrap up. This is just exciting to me. Look at this. I'm going to show you this right here. This is what's exciting to me. The guy who, when he was 12, couldn't score a single point in the summer league, and then decided that he was going to put in the work and put in the effort that it was going to take for him to actually go about getting funded. And as a result of him putting in that work, now we're able to look here and see this and to see championships and to see standing with the president and to see the pain, the agony, we to able to see the Olympics and able to see ring after ring after ring. So what happens when you don't give up and you say, hey, Rodney, I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to learn this. What's going to happen? How many kids are going to be helped? How many families or communities are going to be helped? How many people? You see, if you look past just the grunt work of having to do the grant writing on the unset and look at the prize, like what's going to happen? Like I know my friend Lisa, she's wanting to do something in a particular community to help make a difference, to continue her mother's legacy. That's going to be awesome. And awesome feeling. Others of you have some other things that you're planning on doing. Some of you want to work with vets. You want to help those that are homeless. Some of you want to get monies to build tiny houses. Some of you want to help those that are addicted to various drugs to find relief. I don't know what your driver is, whatever that thing is driving you. But I want to encourage you that it is very possible. And even though right now you can't see how it may happen, or maybe like, all right, I've been wanting to do this for 5 years, but I haven't done it. Okay, now today can be the day of action. Today can be the day of action. Now, what do you mean? Today can be the day of action, meaning that you can do just like Kobe Bean Bryant did and make a decision to say, hey, things are going to be different. And when you make that simple thing that he did, which is a decision, and don't look at the short game, but look at the long-term game, you'll be amazed at what can happen when you roll up your sleeves and put in the work. Now, is this going to magically, is the grant going to just magically appear out of the sky? No. You and I both know that that's not the case. You know that's not the case, okay? But what am I saying? I'm saying that if you put in the work and you roll up your sleeves and you use that wonderful thing that you have up here called a brain, use your brains, you know what can happen. Some amazing, amazing things, okay? So I want to just take the time just to encourage you, just to say, hey, go get them. Go get them. Let's make some magic happen. And if you'll do so, my friend, I believe that you will be amazed at what can happen. Now, tell me this real quickly. I want you to put down a goal. Now, whoever you are, wherever you are, I want you to put down, what's the goal financially of the grant money that you want to raise this year? What's that number? Put that number down. Type that number so I can see it. And maybe you haven't thought about it. If you haven't thought about it, now's a great time to do that D word, make a decision. Okay. Is it 25,000? Okay. Is it 100,000? What is it? 200,000? Is it 1 million? Okay. Now I want you to do it. And I want you to do this. I want you to go over, I'm going to type it in right now. Okay. I'm not going to type it in. It's grantcentralusa.com. I want you to go there, grantcentralusa.com, and then look for the link that says happy clients. Because let me tell you what you're going to find when you get to that page. You're going to find a number of people that were just like you. And they were clueless. And how do I know they were clueless? Because when I first met them, they knew goose egg, zero, about what it took to write a successful grant proposal. But they invested into learning, and then they rolled up their sleeves, and then they put in the work, and many of them got funded. I could tell you story after story after story of those that came and in months, sometimes as short as a couple of months, they got funded. I know if we get 2 people in particular, in fact, you can actually go and hear the telephone call of one of them, but 2 young ladies, Holly Abrams and Kelsey Pringer, both of them were sent to a training that I was doing, teaching people about grant writing. Now, they knew zero. And they both were sent to the training on the very first day of employment. That was their initiation to work, I guess. They say, hey, we're going to have you go work this ball, this ball headed guy who's going to teach you about something with grants. And I shared with them and poured into them and gave them example after example and directions on what to do and what not to do. They got a chance to learn from my bumps and bruises that I, that I had on my head, and they learned from them. And as a result of learning from them, they went in. They did not have to make the same mistakes that I made because I shared with them, avoid that. Okay. So that saved them time and energy. And I never forget Kelsey Pringer. She got funded within, I want to say, 90 days after the training. So literally 90 days, they secured a grant. And I believe that grant was for $25,000. And if you go to YouTube and type her name in, you may find that video there. Just type in Kelsey Pringer, Grant Central USA review. You may also find it on that page that I was just telling you about. The other person, you can actually go and hear when I called her to congratulate her. She had raised in her first 6 to 9 months, somewhere in that time frame. I want to say maybe 6 months or so. She raised over 200 some odd $1,000. Now, this is somebody again that knew zero about what it took to do effective grant writing, and she wrote a grant and she got funded. Now, the first one, I think she said she sent some letters of inquiry and she got the rejection. Okay, that's just like a little earlier we talked about Kobe being Bryant when he didn't score any points that first summer. Not a single point, but he rolled up his sleeves and did not give up. Looked at the long game, got back in the game, and as a result, he ended up becoming one of the best players of all times. Now, what I'm saying to you is that maybe you don't get funded on the front end, just like Holly. Holly sent some letters of inquiry. They were rejected, but she continued. And then you'll get a chance to hear her tell the story about how she applied again. And I think her first grant that she won was for like $100,000. You actually get a chance to hear me calling and congratulating her. And the conversation was really explosive because I told her, I said, hey, listen, when you get funded, I'm gonna celebrate with you. And I was playing the happy song, the happy song, and the happy dance, and it was really special. So I'm looking forward to hopefully celebrating with you once you get funded as well, my friend. Looks like we got some cleaning up getting ready to take place around here. So I'm going to wrap this up, but I want to encourage you to continuously be brave, continuously be bold, be brilliant. And my friend, I want you to always take charge and let's go make a difference. You can do this. Hope to see you soon. And remember, this Friday, we're going to be having the GFIC Get Funded Masterclasses, where I'm going to be sharing with you about how to do press releases for grant writers. If you haven't signed up, don't miss this one. It's going to be fantastic. All the best. Take care.